If you're looking for rural Colorado as a place to call home, but not too far away from civilization, here's a town for you. This is Mead, Colorado, a town located 20 minutes northeast from Longmont and 45 minutes from Denver. You're now in rural Colorado, at least the section between Denver and Fort Collins. It's a completely different aesthetic compared to suburbs closer to the city, but it has a lot to offer. Let's take a closer look. Like I just mentioned, Mead, Colorado is located just 20 minutes northeast from Longmont, which is the northernmost suburb of Denver, right at the edge of Boulder County. Go a little farther into the country and you'll hit Mead. Mead sits right off of I-25, which is the main highway that takes you south into Denver. Like I just mentioned, only 45 minutes away, but also head north and you'll get into areas like Fort Collins, only about 35 minutes away. So although Mead is a much more rural town, you're still able to get into either city if you need to. It's not like some of the other rural towns on the eastern side of Colorado that are farther away, and the idea of taking a trip into the city is something like a full day or multi-day event. But if you're looking for a town that's close enough to the city to make a commute to work, then I probably wouldn't recommend Mead. It's a doable drive, but for a daily commute, might be better to consider a closer option. However, Mead is different from those other towns closer to the city. Those other towns are much more suburban, obviously as you're getting closer to the city. But something you'll notice is that the farther away you get, the blend of suburban to rural is much more apparent. And Mead is a terrific blend. You have the center of town, of course, which from all appearances is small. Mead is only around 5,000 people, so this is a small town. But then you have specific neighborhoods to the north and south of the main town that offer a nice rural luxury aesthetic. And then everything surrounding the town, beautiful country. And there is a lot of open land for sale here too. If you're looking for properties with a ton of acreage or just a lot of open, undeveloped land, there are a ton of options here. And let's be honest, the views from Mead are incredible. It is a bit farther east from some of the suburbs closer to Denver or Boulder, which sit closer to the mountains. But you're still close enough that if you have a property facing the mountains, well, you get to wake up every morning to those views, which ties in perfectly to the cost of Mead. Compared to the suburbs closer to the city, Mead is way more affordable. At the time of this video, the median home price for a single family home in Mead sits just under $560,000. For context, Longmont, Colorado, a few miles west, sits just around $620,000. So a bit more expensive. How about some Denver suburbs a bit closer? Let's say Erie, Colorado, just to the south. The median price for homes there are around $700,000. Now, we could break down the cost comparison between these towns, which we'll probably do in a later video. But for now, the driving point is that Mead leans on the affordable side. But then if we analyze price per square foot, we see that the median price per square foot in Mead sits at $210, which means that the estimated median home size is 2,666 square feet. Of course, the size of the home is going to vary depending on if you're looking in the main part of town. Those properties are going to be a bit smaller. Or if you're looking in the surrounding neighborhoods and new builds, there you're going to find much larger homes. But also expect the price to be a bit higher too, especially if you're looking in the luxurious neighborhoods. Think closer to 1 million to 2 million plus. So it's clear Mead stands out as a town a lot different than some of these suburbs closer to these main cities. Obviously, given its distance, it captures the aesthetic of rural Colorado. But the size of Mead could potentially leave you dissatisfied. If that's the case, here's an option for you. Check out my videos on Longmont and Erie, Colorado. Two towns a bit closer to the city, a bit more built up, yet still has a bit of that rural aesthetic compared to the suburbs much closer to Denver. It may be a better fit. This is Life on the Front Range. I'll see you there.